have a couple of questions, but I'll save some later. But I have one question to begin with. I've known you for last year, for 1 year now, and then I know who you are by now. So I feel very privileged to be here right in front of you and to have you in front of me. Your poems are very inviting, very welcoming, very casual and conversational. It helps me enter your poem. Like when I start, with your very first line, and I'm like, wow, okay, I just get it. And slowly and gradually, I just, get it, and then I enjoy it. And toward the end, maybe last stanza, I think there's a big punchline, and sometimes, I get sort of lost there. Maybe a little more abstract, or maybe I have a difficulty with the message you're trying to communicate. Maybe there is sort of a cultural gap. Maybe I'm incapable, or my inability to understand due to the lack of the cultural acclimatizations or understanding the culture itself. So my question is that your conscious choice? Like you do that very consciously, the way you begin with and the way you leave your readers at the end of the very the last stanza. And when you do that, how often you think of the audience? Who is your audience? You think of only the American native speak audience, or you also will be thinking of the audience like in general as a whole across the world? How do you how do you think of your audience when you do that?
After class, can I hug you? That be okay?
Sure.
You're my audience. You're the perfect reader. What you say is exactly what I'm doing. It's very invitational, very. I hate the word accessible, but it's accessible in the beginning of the poem, like come on in. And I say the first few lines, I say something that can't be refuted. I'm sitting here in a club car looking out the window. If you say bullshit to that, why are you reading anything? So once you accept something simple and irrefutable, then you can accept bigger things later on. It's sort of a paraphrase of the idea of Stephen Dobbins was that idea. And then at the end of I try to get the reader in. But what you're really smart about is not knowing the ending exactly. Because it's supposed to be, I wouldn't say confusing, it's supposed to be a little disorientating. Is that the word? Disorienting. Disorienting. And that's the way I want to leave the reader. Often mixing humor with sadness, so that it's ambivalence. I don't come to a single answer at the end with a single meaning. I leave you in a state of mind, and it's like being dropped off somewhere in a neighborhood you don't know and you're not familiar with, and I'm just letting you out of the car. I, who was so inviting to offer you a ride, am now leaving you, abandoning you somewhere. Because I think disorientation is a positive thing in poetry, rather than a strict meaning. And Frost is full of ambiguities and ambivalences for one thing. So it's supposed to be, I think of disorientation as a pleasure. And but you're spot on. You give a perfect description of how I stage a poem. Here's something easy. Here's a grounder. Here's a little catch the ball, and now we're in playing. And then the poem gets more complicated. And then there's often a left turn where the lines are now, mortal lines, and that's a little jump. And then I take you into the child asleep. So where are you? Well, then I go away. I leave you there. You figure it out. So that's part of it. It's a big part of it. Thank you for noticing.
Thank you.